Hello everyone, Amuleta here, and it's time for another weekly update. And after last week, my big focus this week was to get the Fire Bros working, which I did. And because of them, I actually got a few other small things working better in the background. Not a whole lot to show off, so I'm gonna this will probably be fairly quick. Let's go ahead and get in here. I'll go into Super Mario. I've done him a bit. But, yeah, my big focus was on getting the Fire Bros working because of all the jankiness with them getting hung up on the walls and everything. And so I kind of I wound up having to rework a bit of the enemy movement code. So it was just because of the way those guys work. But you can see here that now these guys are moving in a nice, neat line like they're supposed to, instead of zooming off to the right like they used to. That shouldn't be working. That shouldn't be happening for any more of the ground-based enemies. You can see it here with the Goombas too, where they stay in their nice little formations of breaking up like they used to. So finally got that figured out. And very happy to have that fixed and working. And then I will have to get to the second stage to show off the Fire Bros, because I don't have any of them in here, but we'll get there soon enough. The movement thing should also help. It's not 100% yet, but it should help with, like, how in this upcoming section the Spinies will kind of bounce back and forth as they go down. Like, they're gonna still do that, but it helps with that a little bit, I think, and I'm still kind of looking into ways to make that a little bit better. But, you know, every little bit helps. And then, something else I did behind the scenes that's not really something I can effectively show off, I hope. But I've also been working on updating the code for when your player dies, to make things stop moving. Originally, since this wasn't meant to be like a whole game project, I was just kind of adding them to a list of things to do when Mario dies. You know, set enemy, like parent enemy speed to 0, and, you know, stop their image from moving, their sprite from moving and animating, stuff like that. But it's starting to get to the point where, like, I need to have a parent, like, a bigger parent object to handle all that, so I'm starting to work on that a little bit behind the scenes. Probably not something I can really show off, but it's, you know, just making things easier behind the scenes and less resource intensive. But if we get into here, did also get a little bit of work done on stage 2, so I'll show that off here in a bit. You can see how, like, that turtle was just hovering there for a moment. Still not 100%, but, you know, getting there. Here we have our Hammer Bros, who now spit, they jump, they stay in place when they jump, or, you know, they fall along with everything else when they jump, however you want to look at. So they are working better. Let me go ahead and, oh, shoot. Okay, well, yeah, because these sound like paths. Or there's a way to make him stop that. Yeah, okay. Okay, now I'm just gonna sit here and suck for a few minutes. No, that's fine, it happens. Yeah, worst case, if I get down to, like, my last life or get tired, I'll just throw on the invincibility cheat. I am still trying to use these as a little bit of, like, impromptu, playtesting a little bit, you know, because you never know when you're gonna come across something weird. This is actually my second time trying to record this, because the first time I came across a pretty major, oops, no, I got greedy. I came across a pretty major bug when I died that I had just forgotten to activate something, so had to go do that. I mean, I could show off the Fire Bros in, like, the test room, except for that I kind of overhauled my test room in an attempt to make things work a little bit more like they do in the game proper, and it just broke the test room, so gonna have to fix that, but that's just, you know, behind the scenes stuff. That's not something you guys have to worry about. See, now the Goombas just follow you the whole way. So, you know, nice constant threat if you don't take care of them early. You know, because you're gonna start trying to fill in the stage a little bit of coins and stuff, give you a reason to fly in between things instead of just blasting everything as it comes on the screen. Speaking of, hey, looky there, got some coins. So I've started adding coins to the pyramid because I realized one thing I could do with the pyramid to make a quote-unquote hard path is, if you've played Mario Bros. 1, this may sound familiar, but in some of the castles, oh dear, what did I just... IO play sound requires at least 3 arguments. Let's fix one up. What in the world? Step event 0 for object. Okay, I just got some kind of bug. Just gonna make a note of that and come back to it in a bit. What do I have that I can like make a note of this? Uh, Here. Go to my like checklist of stuff and I'll just paste it in there and come back to it in a minute. Well, that was unexpected. I mean, that's kind of all I needed to show anyways. It just wasn't expecting it to kind of flip out there. It worked a minute ago. Oh, maybe because I got 100 coins? That might be it. I wasn't paying attention to my coin counter. That's probably what happened there. But, I swear, this is just a cursed, stream. Cursed video. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, back in Mario Bros. 1, there were endless levels. There were certain Bowser castles where if you, went through a certain path, you could progress through the stage. But if you did, then it would just keep looping over and over again. I'm not gonna do the looping thing, partially because I'm not sure how to make it work with the way I have everything else going, and partially because it was kind of, a jerk move. But what I could do is use that as inspiration for how to arrange the coins for the most difficult path is the one that gives you the most coins for unlocking characters when we do that. So I need to start working on getting that going. So I'll probably use that as inspiration for building the pyramid section of here. As well as I gotta put a bunch of coins out here on the outside now that I've gotten most of the enemies and stuff working. I may have made this a little too bullet helly. I don't know. I'll tweak things. But yeah, so we've got our, and obviously the other paths need to have stuff in them. So maybe I'll make one like with easy enemies, but not much goodies. Another one with some of the power ups and stuff. But yeah, here is the end of what I've got so far for the stage. And then it's time to kind of move on. But got the Fire Bros working. Got a little bit of an update to any movement that I'm really happy about because that's been bugging me for a while. Working on getting the way deaths are handled cleaned up a little bit better. I'm making some progress. So I guess that's everything I got for now. Yeah, again, not a huge update, but I'm very happy with what I've gotten done. So, I hope you all have a great week. As always, feedback is welcome and appreciated. And, I'm supposed to say, I hope you have a great week now, and then tell y'all to take care.